Joining us now is a broadcaster and communications analyst, Mr. Tokunbo Ojekunle. Thank you so much for being here. And how do I greet you? Do I say all hail thee, or do I say good morning to you? Welcome. What's your thought?
Interesting one. Thank you so much.
Interesting times, eh?
Or good morning, compatriots.
All right. Oh, good morning, my brother.
We're no longer compatriots now.
Good morning, brother. brother. Like Olive said, hope they don't pick the mace. A brother picks the mace and runs away with it.
No.
What are your thoughts?
Nice to have me. Thank you, Gospel.
All right.
You know something? I think the way it's been done is quite funny. In the first case, all your respondents have spoken. And that's the fact that, is this what we need at this time? Is a big question. Loaded, I must tell you. And thinking about the impact policies have had on the people, which is the most important thing, people would tend to kick and shout against it. However, I grew up with the lines of the first anthem, the first one, now new. Because of the lines. The lines come from the colonial era. They thought were put together for us by colonialists, expatriates. Gene Williams actually wrote the lines, the lyrics, and Francisco Berda, put the songs together. The lines are strong and willed, and as all anthems are all over the world, please believe me, it's about the vision, it's about the culture of a people, it's about what they look forward to become. And that's the most important thing. So if by the weight of both anthems, the old one and the Arise the Compatriot situation, they argued that that was given to us by the military, and this one, if they can settle for this one. But when you are leaving military conundrums and putting us back in the colonial ship, there's something a little bit funny about that. I would prefer to have a better reason for it. Believe me, I would prefer to have it. Having said that also, I noticed that sadly and interestingly, the lines of the first anthem are really very good. We learned it well in school. Both tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. It also talked about the oneness, talked about what we expect the nation to look like. So to me, it's carrying a whole load, but we have not done it the proper way. You can't just wake up one day and say national anthem has to be. People have to make contributions. But the weight of that is too heavy. We're talking about the economy now, the naira against the dollar, the expensive things coming up from the marketplaces, wage bills rising, and then salary, we don't even know where we are at the moment. So for me, I think I won't call it a distraction, but it's something that the house shouldn't have started at this moment. The movement for a national anthem for me is not well placed. I must confess, it is not well placed.
Okay, now moving away from the moment to talk about the authors of both anthems, you did specifically explain that the former anthem, the new anthem now, it's a bit confusing. The Nigeria We Hail Thee anthem was written not by Nigerians, but for Nigerians. Was written by Lillian J. Williams, and it was composed by Francis Berda. And then we had in 1978, when the Arise O Compatriot anthem was written. It was written by 5 Nigerians and composed by Pa Benedict Odiase. Those who have criticized it, like you've mentioned, a number of people have said that this anthem was written by colonialists, not by Nigerians. But let's talk about, what the impact of this might be, or what message we may be sending by doing this in terms of how well these people were celebrated. Now, bear in mind, those historians did criticize the fact that not enough celebration or recognition was given to the 5 contributors to the national anthem. Typically, we only heard of Pa Benedict Odiase, who was the composer, but that we haven't really recognized these other 5 people who contributed to the writing of the national anthem. So is there any underlying message that we are passing by this?
You know, that's a very good one for me. What you've asked has actually been asked in the past. Um, we got to know later, a few years after that anthem came out, that there were extra people lines to make the anthem whole as one. But having said that, I would rather ask questions about how impacting has the lines been on the common Nigerian. You know, my question is all about, look. We have a good anthem, we don't have a good anthem. We have a good lines, we don't have good lines. Let's assume we have taken some lines, we have adopted one. And I want to ask, what is the national orientation doing, or agency or movement doing? Because most of the time we just sing these songs, we just shout and chant these lyrics. We are not really imbibing them in our true nature and character.
I mean, I agree with you. You've mentioned how its impact would affect our character and, of course, our true nature. But hopefully we can connect with you again. Okay, all right.
Oh,
go ahead.
Now.
Please go ahead.
Okay, fine. Yeah, are we still together as a people, as a nation? I have so many friends all over the nation. Very few people will accommodate other people. I grew up in a predominantly mixed area as a boy, where Muslims and Christians all live together in a community. And within that community, we have different shades from Igbo. We were all there and we grew up together. And up until now, we're best of friends. Now, would I say that those lines impacted on us? Maybe, maybe not. But generally speaking, we can't even say we love this nation. Corruption is high on the mountain. Look at scamming. Way back, we didn't have that because we didn't have the technology. But people are subtly scamming people. Yeah, they could without the technology. How have we grown into putting those things into our mind and acting them out? I know your question would be, other nations also experience this. I agree. But for me, in Nigeria, I think the actions should be more than the words. The words are just there. We learn them in primary school, nursery school. We are put in the sun to learn those lines. And I will remember in the 60s, we learned them by force. But we just like those lines because some of us who did literature love the lines and they make a lot of sense. So for me, the presidency or the government should begin to look at how to actually put these things in our mind and make us see that we need to change. However, they also need to change. We need to see examples from leaders. We need to see so many things being corrected. I am not saying that they are not doing well in that area, but hey, I also know that it's not an easy bill because you have a huge number of people to control, and we have been through so many interregnums, both military and civilian, and we are still asking questions. One question I ask often, would the lines, new lines, or the old now new lines help me have light regularly? Would it take me to the market and I'll buy stuff affordably? Will it also make transportation easier for me at the end of the day? Let's grow with the lines. Let the lines grow in us and let's act it out. Our leaders should take a cue. But anyway, the bus has moved. There's a new anthem, and I think we have to move with it.
All right. Just to add to what you just said, let's go back to Australia. I do recall in Australia, Australia had to look into its lyrics of its national anthem. We do recall that one of the lines in the lyrics actually said that we are young and free. But later on, in the early 2000s, they had to review it and change it to we are one and free. Of course, this had to do with the Aboriginal heritage and the likes. Let's bring it down here to Nigeria. We've also seen a similar change made in Niger, where they've said they want to be free from the shackles of France. So they've gone ahead to change the entire national anthem, which should actually show that they are independent. Nigeria is now going back to a national anthem that actually takes us back to the time of colonial rule. Do you think that we could have just changed the wordings of the current national anthem rather than change the entirety of the national anthem by going back to the past?
Or just to add to that, maybe gotten Nigerians who can actually compose and write a new lyrics to fit whatever mood or message we're trying to drive.
I think you both said it all. In fact, you concluded on this particularly, and I love the way you have inferred here and there, brought statistics to facts to lay on the table. I said earlier, if you heard me, I'm sure you did, that I would have expected them to commission or send a panel together to look into it, so every Nigerian will be involved this time around. There's nothing wrong in changing the lines. There's nothing wrong in rewriting the story of Nigeria. Every day can't be like yesterday. Every day changes, things change, and we are mobile. We're mobile people. We've been through phases. I tell you this, in the past 1 year to date, so many things have changed. First subsidy has changed, affected us positively, negatively. These are things that are changing around us. So we can sit back and really task our minds again and rewrite the story. We can rewrite the story by not really altering the culture. We can rewrite a story and re-narrate the sequences of how we came together and what is expected of us for the future. We can still reshape it. You are very right. I honestly suggest that rather than it's a feared thing, and because it's feared, it looks like to me like an order. Look at the way the bills came back to back. It went on. Sorry, I used that. And it got to the president. No delay, no whatever. President appended his signature. So for me, it's, the drive is already known. So this is where we are going.
Right.
Okay, fine. I love that. And I really wish that all other policies and expectations of government will be on that fair and fast move. But back to the anthem, we can redo it, we can retouch it, we can rewrite it. There are people you can engage them. But people say, and I still also say, that most of the time it calls for some expenses. Yes, it does. And people are asking questions, is that what's next? Yes, we can start the process. We can rewrite and write again. Somebody said, is it now for me to start learning Nigeria I Hail Thee at my age? And I would say, come to think of it, okay? Whatever age you are, okay, the story still continues. So let's grow with it for the next generation.
All right.
We have to rewrite it. We can still do it, but we have to do it the proper way and make it almost like everybody is contributing. Every part of this nation has a say. We cannot sit back. We can't leave this one and go back to the colonial era. We never go back. We should be a forward-looking nation and a nation that continues to seek for advancement in every aspect of life. The generation coming and looking at us, they're also looking at how to be good leaders. So let's lead well and let's give them what's a legacies they can always look back on and not be able to touch again. That's the fair for me.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us and explaining this so clearly. I guess we don't have a choice. We're all going to have to learn the national anthem. I didn't grow to the Nigeria We Hail the anthem, although I knew the chorus one, but the first stanza right. But now I'm going to have to learn all the stanzas. And I agree. We have the power to write and rewrite our history. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you.